More on that big story today about British banks. RBS shares are plummeting following news that the bank may be forced by the European Union to sell more assets. We're talking about insurance units, as many as 300 branches. Well, we partnered with the FT to bring you Lex on Bloomberg so you can get a sneak peek at the Financial Times flagship column a day early. Joining us now is the head of the FT's Lex column, Joe Johnson. Joe, the situation does not look good for RBS.
Well, that's right. What we're looking at today is the start of the dismantling of Sir Fred Goodwin's empire. And it's important to note here that the UK government may try and spin this as saying, consumers, we're bringing in more increased competition to the UK banking market. In fact, that is essentially spin. The reason RBS may be forced to sell some assets is from pressure from Brussels. It's coming from Neelie Kroes, the EU Competition Commissioner. This is not a UK government initiative.
Okay, so the pressure is coming from the EU. Is this the price that you pay for nationalization, effectively? It was an option that was considered here in the United States. The U.S. government did it with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but chose not to do it with the banks. So is it perhaps a lesson that maybe the officials over here chose the right path because politics isn't becoming a problem?
Well, I think when the EU looks at these situations, it looks at whether this organization, in this case RBS, would be viable without state support. And the answer is clearly no. So it's trying to rescale RBS's operations, breaking them up to an extent so that they can be viable on a standalone basis without state aid. That's the principal objective.
All right, Joe, very briefly, what do you make of the argument that this is necessary, that a breakup, the argument that Alistair Darling made over the weekend, that this is going to increase competition in the UK banking business?
Well, the UK banking market has become very consolidated in the last 18 months as a result of several things: the exit of many players, in-market consolidations. Lloyds, TSB took over Halifax Bank of Scotland, creating a substantial player in retail banking. The market has become incredibly consolidated, and a shake-up is certainly no bad thing from a consumer perspective.
Joe, thank you very much. Joe Johnson of the FT's Lex desk.